welcome back to my channel. I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another video and welcome to a series check-in video. For these videos, I try to do them, like once every 6 months, where I come in and sit down and check in with you guys on how I'm doing with my series. I feel like the series epidemic is, hitting us all pretty hard. I feel like there is not one single person out there that is not struggling with completing series and or starting so many that there's just not enough time to complete all of the ones that we've already started. So I try to use these videos as a way to keep me accountable with keeping up with series and just reading more sequels. So today I'm going to be talking about all of the series that I have completed, caught up with in regards to publication, DNF'd, started, and then books that I haven't touched in the last however long since I've done an update video. So that being said, this is going to be quite a lengthy video, so I'm not going to take too long to yabber on, but I own some of these, I don't own others, so the ones I don't own, I'll just place a picture on the screen. I'm going to try not to talk about these ones in too great detail because there's a lot of books to go through. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'm going to start off on a good note with the books that I have completed. And as of my last update in April, I completed 6 series and I've read 11 books in order to get there. Here are the 6 I completed. The first one is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. I also completed Crooked Paradise. This is by Eva Chance and Harlow King. Just recently, I finished up The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I also finished These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I finally completed the Royal series by Rachel Hawkins. And finally, the last series that I started and completed this year was Guild by Tate James. Okay, now we're going to move on to a little bit of a less happy note, and these are all of the series that I have DNF'd this year. I have DNF'd a total of 8 series, and weirdly enough, I've only read 3 books in order to DNF them, but there are some series that I had been in the middle of and I decided to DNF when I was doing sew-in hauls. And because I don't own any of these, I'm going to go through these rather quickly. So we have The Librarian's Coven by Catherine Moon, Book of Night by Holly Black, The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James, Fallen by Lauren Kate, Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi, The Simonverse by Becky Appertally, and finally, Maze Runner by James Dashner. Now I'm going to talk about all of the book series that I am currently up to date with, meaning that I have read everything that has currently been published and I'm just waiting on more books to come out. First up, we have Dark Olympus by Katie Robert, The Marionettes by Katie Wismer. The 3rd book in this series is coming out in November. Then we have Lore Olympus. I read Volume 2 and I believe Volume 3 is coming out rather soon as well. The Sunbearer Trials by Aiden Thomas. And lastly, we have Knock 'Em Out by Lucy Score, the first book being Things We Never Got Over. Up next, we're going to talk about book series that I have started. I have started a total of 23 series in the last 6 months, and I've read 29 books in this category. Up first, we have Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I still need to read the 2nd book in the series, and I believe book 3 is coming out relatively soon. Then we have The Extraordinaries by TJ Klune. I have read books 1 and book 2, and I still need to read book 3, but it's on my TBR for this month. Then we have The STEMinist Novella by Ali Hazelwood. I have read 2 of the books in that series and I have 1 more novella to go. I also read Ruthless Boys of Zodiac by Suzanne Valenti and Caroline Peckham. I have read, I believe, all the way up to book 4 in this series. The 5th book is the final book, I believe, but there's no audiobook, so I have not read that one just yet, but eventually I will. I also started Him by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen. I have read book 1 in the series and I still need to read book 2 and the novella that ends off the series. Then I started the Kit Davenport series by Tate James. I have read all full-length novels in this series. I just need the little novella in order to complete this off. Up next, we have the Tales from Verania series by TJ Klune. I have read books 1 and 2. This is a 6-book series, so I still have a little ways to go. I also started the Vicious Lost Boys series, the first book being The Never King. These are short novellas, steamy novellas. I have read book 1. I still need to read book 2, and I believe a 3rd one is coming out as well. We have The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I have read books 1 and book 3. I just need to go back and read The Bright Test. Then we have Priest by Sierra Simone. I have read book 1. I still need to read books 2 and 3. And I believe there's a novella in this series as well. I then picked up Guild by Raven Kennedy. This is the first book in the Plated Prisoner series. I believe there are 4 or 5 books in this series, so I've only read book 1. Still a little ways to go. Up next, we have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I have read book 1. I still need to read books 2 and 3. Then we have the Hoops series by Kennedy Ryan. I have read book 1. I still need to read the rest of the books in this series. I believe there are 3, maybe 4. I also read 6 Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I still need to read the 2nd book that comes in this duology or series, I'm not sure. I also started The Dark Dream Duet by Gianna Darling. I read the novella that comes before the 1st book, and then I still need to read the full-length novel in order to complete this one. I have started the Sea of Ruin series by Pam Godwin. There is a novella that comes before the first book, the full-length novel in this series. I have read the novella. I have not read the full-length book yet. Up next, we have Twisted Love by Anna Huang, the first book in the Twisted series. I still have 3 more to go. I am putting this one in this category even though I have read this book before, but I recently did a reread in order to continue on with the series. So Furyborn being the first book in the Imperium trilogy, I have 2 more books to go. Then I read the first book in the Hot Jock series. I don't know how many are in this series, but I enjoyed it enough to want to continue. I also read a book in the Wait With Me series. It is One Moment Please. This is by Amy Dawes. She's an author that I started reading from last year and really enjoyed, and so I need to go back and read books 1 and 2. I also read the first book in the Sweet Omegaverse series by Catherine Moon, the first one being Lola and the Millionaires. I still need to go back and read book 1 and then continue on with the rest of the series because I read book 2. Second to last, we have Hades Hangman series by Tilly Cole, the first one being It Ain't Me Babe. I believe there are 3 books in total, maybe 4 or 5 actually. I could be wrong. There are several books in this series. I've only read book 1. And finally, we have The Bonds That Tether. This is by J. Bree. I have read the first 4 books in this 6-book series. Second to last, we're going to talk about all of the series that I continued in the last 6 months. I continued 10 series and read a total of 18 books in this category. The first series that I continued in was the Harlequin Cruise series by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. I read 2 more books in this series. I have 2 more to go. Then we have A Third of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have read 2 more books in the series and I have 3 more to go. But this is quite a lot of progress since the last time I did an update, seeing as I hadn't picked it up in quite a while, so I'm feeling happy about finally finishing out my Sarah J. Maas backlist. Then we have the Briar U series by Elle Kennedy. I think I read book 3 and I just have book 4 to read. I also continued on with the Zodiac Academy series by Caroline Peckham and Susan Valenti. I read books 2 through 6. 2 more to go. I need to read book 7 and book 8, and I recently heard they announced a book 9, so not quite completed the series anytime soon. Then we have the Black Dagger Brotherhood series by J.R. Ward. I have read books 5, 6, and 7 in the series. It's a long series. I think there's like 22 books, not including the novellas, so I still have a while to go. I also moved on with the Wayward Children series by Seanan McGuire. I read Across the Green Grass Fields. I have 1 more book in this series to complete before I'm caught up, and I believe the 8th book is coming out relatively soon. I have also continued in the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. I did read the 5th book in this series, and I have 1 more book until I am done. I also moved on with the Villains series by V.E. Schwab. I read the short novella that comes before book 1. It's called Warm Up, and I just have the last book to read, and I believe there's more in this series coming. Then we have the Wicked Villain series by Katie Robert. I have read the 2nd book in the series, which is Learn My Lesson. I still have many more books in this series to go. And finally, the last series that I have worked on recently is the Darker Shade of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. I have read Gathering of Shadows, and I just have A Conjuring of Light left. All right, let's talk about our last and final section is the series that I have yet to work on in the past 6 months and on that I really need to get a move on and complete these series. There are a total of 62 series on this list, and in order to finish everything, I would need to read 173 books. So first up, we're going to start with the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I have finished the core books in this series, but I still need to read the graphic novels and Stars Above, which I believe follows Aiko, maybe? I could be wrong about that, but I need to read those ones. Then we have the Folk of the Air series by Holly Black. I just need to read the little short stories that came after the series. Then we have Twilight by Marissa Meyer. I still need to read Midnight Sun. I also have Once Upon a Con by Ashley Poston. I have only read book 1. I still need to read the rest of the books in the series. Then we have the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I have read book 1, need to read more. Another one I don't own is the Modern Love series by Alicia Rai. I have read book 1, need to read the rest of the series. Up next, we have the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. I just have the last book in the series to read, and it's on my TBR for this month, so hopefully this will go on to my finished series list very soon. I also need to finish the Thalanian Dynasty series by Katie Robert. I have read the little novella before the series actually begins. I have not read the rest of the books in the series, and there are 8 in total, so I have a little ways to go. We also have Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. I still need to read books 2 and 3. Then we have What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I just need to read the 2nd book that came out in this series. We also have the Nevernight Chronicles by J. Kristoff. I just need to read the last book to finish this up. Up next, we have the Forgery of Magic series by Maya Motain. I just need to read book 2. I also need to finish up the Arc of the Scythe series by Neil Shusterman. I have read books 1 and 2. I just need to read the last book, and then I believe there's a book of short stories coming out in this series as well. Then we have the graphic novel series Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan and other authors. I have read volume 1. I believe there are 6 volumes in the series, so I need to catch up. Then we have the Legacy of Auretia series by Tomi Adeyemi. I still need to read book 2 in this series. However, I don't believe this series is ever going to get a conclusion, so it's not high on my priority list. Up next, we have the Girls of Paper and Fire trilogy by Natasha Nyong. I have read books 1 and 2. I just need to read the last one. Another graphic novel series I need to finish is Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. I have read volumes 1, 2, and 3. I need to read 4 through 9, and the 10th one is coming out very soon. Then we have the Illuminae Files by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I have read the first book in this series. I still need to read books 2 and 3. Some more graphic novels. We have the Lumberjanes series. I have read volume 1. I still need to read volumes 2 through 12. Then we have the With Me in Seattle series by Kristen Proby. I have read 5 books in this series. There are 20-something in total, so again, a long way to go. Up next, we have the Vale Hall series by Kristen Simmons. I have read books 1 and 2. I just need to read the last book in the series. I also have the Murderbot Diaries that I need to complete. I have only read the first novella. I also need to finish up the Six of Crows duology. I have read Six of Crows. I need to read Crooked Kingdom. Then we have the Bargainer series by Lauren Thalassa. I have read books 1 and 2. I just need to read the short story and the last book in the series. Another chunky one, we have the David Ba trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty. I have read book 1 and I still need to read books 2 and 3. Of course, we have Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I have read the first book, still need to read books 2 and 3. Then we have the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. I have read the 4 core books in this series. I just need to read the short story collection that involves all 4 couple groups, and I will be done with the series entirely. Then we have the Fall Away series by Penelope Douglas. I have read book 1, which I believe is Bully, and I still need to read the rest of the books in the series. Up next, we have the Blood and Ash series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have read book 1. I still need to read whatever's left. Up next, we have the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco. I have read book 1. I still need to read books 2 through 4, I believe. Then we have the Cassidy Blake series by Victoria Schwab. I have read book 1, still need to read books 2 and 3. Then we have the Gilded Ones by Namina Forna, and I have read book 1, just need to read the second book in the series, or duology, I'm not sure. Of course, we have the Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams. I only have 1 more book to read. I have read books 1 through 3, and then there is a Christmas book coming out in November that I would also love to read. Up next, we have An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. I still need to read the last 2 books in the series. Up next, we have A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth. I have read book 1, still need to read the second book in the series. Again, the same thing goes for Boyfriend Material by Alexis Hall. I have read book 1, need to read book 2. Up next, we have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I have read books 1 and 2. I just need to read the last book in this series. Then we have The Dark Side. I can't remember the author of this book, but I have read books 1 through 3, and I just need to read the last book to complete out the series. Up next, we have Supernatural Investigations by B.B. Alston, the first one being Amari and the Night Brothers. Amari and the Great Game just came out recently, so I still need to read that one. I also need to complete the series called Capricorn Cove. This is by Evie Mitchell. They are a collection of plus-sized novellas that I absolutely adore, so I definitely need to read some more of those. I have read 2 of them, and I still have 9 more to go. We also have Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I have read Skyward. I still need to read the other 2 books in this series, as well as the short story collection. Going back to graphic novels, we have Bingo Love. This is by T. Franklin and Jen St. Ange, as well as Joy San. There are 2 more books in the series that I need to read. I've only read volume 1. We also have The Tea Dragon Society by Kay O'Neill. I have read volume 1, still need to read volumes 2 and 3. Up next, we have the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I have read books 1 and 2, still need to finish up this series. Then we have Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. I have read Middle Game, and Seasonal Fears recently came out, so I need to finish that one up as well. Then we have the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. I have read book 1. I still need to read the other 5 books in this series. I also need to finish up the Bloodline Vampire series by Katie Robert. I have read books 1 and 2. I still need to read book 3. However, this recently became a bind-up of one singular book. I will leave that book on the screen because I can't remember what the series is now called or the book is now called, but I definitely need to finish that one up as well. Another series I have been pushing off but definitely need to finish is The Raven Hood by Kate Stewart. I have read book 1 and need to read books 2 and 3. Then we have the Shadow Beast Shifters series by Jamin Eve. I have read book 1. There are definitely multiple more in this series. I don't know how many, but I do need to finish that one up. Then we have Wilder Lore by Amanda Foody. I have read book 1. I still need to read book 2. Then we have Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I have read book 1. Still need to read the rest of the books in this series. Up next, we have The Four Horsemen by Lauren Thalassa. I have read books 1 and 2. I just need to read books 3 and 4. Then we have The Harris Brothers by Amy Dawes. I have read books 4 and 5. I need to go back and read books 1 through 3 to finish out the series. We also have The Tempting Monster series by Catherine Moon. I have read book 1 and need to read book 2. Up next, we have the Primas of Power series by Alexis Daria. I have read book 1 and need to read book 2. Then we have The Dividers by Libba Bray. I have read book 1 and I still need to read books 2 through 4. I also have to read the rest of the Rainbow Cove series by Annabeth Albert. I have read book 1. I still need to read books 2 through 4. Then we have the Orange Collections by Ichigo Tagano. I have read the first collection. I need to finish this up with the second collection. Then we have the Boyfriend Project series by Farrah Roshan. The next one I need to read is The Dating Plan. This is book 2. There's also a third book in this series that I need to read as well. We also have Wings of Ebony by J.L. I have to read book 2 in this series. Still need to continue on with the Touch of Taboo series by Katie Robert. I have read and DNF'd book 1, but I definitely want to still continue on with this novella series. The next one I'm going to read is in December because it is a Christmas novella, so I feel like it should be perfect for that time. And the last and final book that we have to talk about today is the Fortuna Sworn series by KJ Sutton. I have read book 1 and still need to read books 2 through 4. Oh my gosh, that is everything. We did it. We talked about all of the books in regards to series that I have started, completed, caught up on, DNF'd, all of that fun stuff. I hope this was fun and entertaining for you guys. I personally love watching series update videos. It gives me the motivation to work on some of my series, and I hope that this video did the same for you. Feel free to let me know down in the comments below if you have read any of these series, completed any of these series, and what you thought of them. Feel free to also let me know any series that you absolutely need to finish before the end of the year. We don't have too much time left, but I know you can do it if you really set your mind to it. So let me know all of those priority series in the comments below. But that is the end of this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And of course, leave any comments, questions, and suggestions in the comment section below. And I will see you in the next video. Bye. Thanks, baby. Turn it down like a sweet and ready. Keep it nice and steady. Know that you've been keeping patience.